Daddy Phil is Big Daddy Phil.
Big Daddy Phil.
Yes, and as always, tonight I am joined by the wonderful C Tactics and who once beat his computer chair in a sumo wrestling match on a Friday.
Listen, we're not going to talk about that old computer chair that I had or office chair that I had. It was actually the worst thing, and I'm glad I have what I have now because it's way better.
Yes, I'm glad we got to talk about that. Very fun.
I don't know about that. It's kind of the opposite of fun, to be honest.
And yeah, I started streaming earlier than I planned to because apparently people up in chat. I could not find the video itself, so we're live so I can find the video. So hello to Satsuki and Hollow. Hope you're well tonight.
See, I'm surprised Hollow is here, but that's just me.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. So yes, what are your thoughts on the episode? Thank you for your thoughts on the episode.
We got one line at the very end. That's it. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie here. The before it went into the opening, I was like very much into it. I was like, okay, let's see where this episode goes, because I went in with the expectation of there being some kind of new content. People described this as it was described by people as an episode 5.5. That is not the case. This is just a generic ass recap episode to remind us how much they ruined this series.
Well, to be honest, I didn't watch all of it.
I mean, pretty much the same. Yeah, I watched the opening, and
I
I watched
watch
the first like couple minutes, and I was like, "What is happening? This is not good." You know, what's a better recap than that recap?
The Kill.
My video, everything you should know about Promised Neverland season 2.
I was just gonna go with the Kill recap. They should have done that.
Kill la Kill recap is great.
Exactly, best recap episode.
Yeah, one of the best. That, it's oddly enough, Trigger has one of the best recap episodes, and Evangelion does as well. Just saying.
I thought Evangelion.
It did, and people often skip it when they shouldn't, because it's very important.
Okay.
It has like one of the craziest like plot twists in the whole show.
That's okay. But yeah, the recap. I still think they should, if they're going to do a recap, they should have done it at the beginning of the season, like to remind everyone here's a season. I think that would have been a lot better instead of just having random. After they already made a lot of people really mad with episode 5.
Yeah, this really was kind of insulting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would have rather them not have an episode this week.
Yeah. There's no reason.
Yeah, there was. It's like I don't even like. Outside of the first 3 episodes, or 3 or 4 episodes, this anime has me so puzzled as to what the hell they were trying to do with this season. It's such a colossal failure that I would not be surprised if by the end of this, the studio says, "Okay, we're gonna redo this," and they announce a new version of season 2. It won't happen, but like I wouldn't be surprised if there was a scenario where it got so bad. Just all of the kickback from it.
Yeah.
That they go ahead and just redo the whole damn thing.
I wonder if there'd be like any.
The series is getting worse and worse.
Yeah, I wonder if there'd be any, or if there'd be any interest from the people who made it to like do it, like that soon. Like we've had a few shows that were redone and try to do it better. There's always like many years later.
Yeah, this is. I mean, they're never going to redo this. Like what we got here is what we got forever. Likely, most likely. I can't see them ever coming back to this unless the mangaka starts to push for it. But as we've discussed before, the mangaka, if he wanted this to have a good adaptation, he would have already. We wouldn't be even talking about this. Like it would have.
And he was involved in the anime, so that's why we were optimistic at the start, saying it's going to change if you, but should still be good.
Yeah, and the fact that he is involved with this, and I've gotten there, it's confusing as to what role he is in. But it's varying from he's very involved to barely at all. So if it's barely at all, that's probably most likely because this is terrible. I don't who like even the fact that this is a recap episode makes no sense. Makes
Sasuke,
no sense.
Sasuke knows this. I'm almost at 600 subscribers. I was actually at that, but unfortunately, someone unsubscribed because they didn't like how much I ran about 20.
Twin Tails is pretty good though.
Exactly. Unsubscribe if you don't.
Uh, so what was the last line? I can't remember.
I thought that was just the line with Norma. And, like,
Oh,
was
it
there
was
some?
like tell me like the
Oh,
line was tell me your side of the story now or
yeah. It was
something.
like, and that made me wonder: are they going to have a couple of minutes to like start fleshing out his story?
Yeah, so it seems like in the next episode, I guess we can surmise from the line that was said by them in the last segment of this episode, awful recap episode, that the next episode is going to feature Norman telling us in a rushed fashion, in a canon or like a recap, another recap episode, the actual original material, what the hell is going on with Nauman.
Yeah, they
So I
could
can't
have.
wait to be just utterly disappointed by that.
They should have done that for the recap. They like recap Norma's story, so it's a story we haven't. That would require them actually answering
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. I have utterly just no clue, no idea why in the hell this got a budget. This recap got a budget, and they didn't just go ahead and it, like just do something to make the story a little bit more cohesive. At least try. But they did it.
Yeah, and we have what basically 6 episodes to finish off the story, assuming it seems likely can happen in episode 5.
Yeah.
I still think. I think you.
Yeah, well, it seems yeah, I have no hope for this adaptation.
Yeah, so speaking of adaptation, I know we talked about this some podcast, but are you going to continue on with the anime or just switch to the manga?
It depends on how bad it gets because I still like in a way like I want to like out of morbid curiosity see where it goes, and at the same time I also want to see if they change anything else about it that is for the better.
Okay.
Um like I still think there is enough time for this series to salvage the last 6 episodes in some way to make it at least a decent solid watch, even though heavily flawed. But I think by the end of this series, this is the current mal rating is like a 7.5. I think we're heading on a trajectory of like a 6.5 or a 6.
I could definitely see that. I wonder though, because how popular it is. A lot of people who don't watch too many are watching Promise Neverland. They tend to be higher on average than
I
watch everything.
see that's a good point to bring up, but I don't think so because I think the last 2 episodes are confusing even to people not like us. So like I cannot see somebody, a casual viewer will say, enjoying this series. I just can't.
I've seen a few people who are more okay with it. I don't know if it's like they're okay with it, great, versus just like not liking.
I have noticed, at least on my videos though, now that you bring that up, that there are like kind of this fringe kind of outcry against the people that are basically pointing out the flaws of this adaptation. So there's definitely at least a small percentage of people that do not agree with the sentiment that this is a bad adaptation quite yet. But I don't I don't think anyone can say for sure that this is just as good as season 1. I think at the very least even those people have to realize that this is just not as good.
Oh, Satsuki's asking if I had watched X, and I wasn't sure what that was. That X arm. So I've
Japan Japan Sinks is, based off what Satsuki has showed me, one of the worst anime in existence. So
okay. Satsuki link it. I'll check it out later.
it's a newer anime too. Yeah,
Uh,
so I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see if I continue it or not. But I
I
am
think
still
I
making.
just well, I agree with you. I'm curious to see like how it will end up. Will it end up being good again? Will it end up terrible? But I think I might just switch to the manga and like read that so the anime doesn't spoil the manga for me. Manga seems to be good up until the end.
Yeah, well, the thing about that is started we started actually reading the manga. I'm on volume 4, like I just
Okay.
on the beginning of volume 4. I really skimmed over a lot of it. But I stopped to read things that I noticed that were different. And do you want to talk about the manga?
Yeah, because our the title says we're also talking about Volume One. We might talk about more than Volume One. Yet. We
It's up to you. Up to you.
Yeah. Well, I reread Volume One like an hour ago. I kind of remember what happened there. I've also read up through Volume Four, so what happens? We'll probably like talk more about the manga.
Oh, for sure. That'd be cool if we made this a weekly thing,
Yeah,
just
like do it.
alongside. If we don't continue it the next episode, or if we do, we decide to drop it on the next podcast. I think we should still do it because it's really fun.
Yeah. Maybe next episode we'll decide
Um,
if we want to drop the anime or not. To like talk about a chapter.
yeah.
Then we'll talk
Um,
about 20 volumes in episode of the podcast.
you know, like these are actually pretty quick reads.
Yeah.
So
Well, I skimmed
maybe,
through like Volume One in like half an hour.
yeah, yeah,
I did before.
it's super. I mean, I hadn't read it before, and I was skimming through it at like mock speeds. I was like, this is really enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think the manga is definitely as good as the anime. Just about getting.
Yeah. What I liked about it is there's just it's
I'm cutting off a
very
lot for
close.
Satsuki's like now. I should eat my
Oh.
microphone. Let me know if it's better. I'm like really close to a microphone now.
um, but for the manga, I found like it's very similar to the anime. There are minor differences, like Isabella doesn't find the Connie's teddy bear.
But she
Um,
did.
she did, but it's not shown her picking it up.
Oh, yeah, it's like
Like
the
the
demon
moment.
hands it to her.
Yeah, yeah, and they show that in the anime. There's really like the art's really good for it,
Yeah,
but
it is.
like there's more like I don't know how to describe it. There's more detail. Like there's more dialogue.
Yeah,
More
it's like
the dialogue takes its time.
The anime was like really loyal to the manga, but is like compressing it within the like 25 episode or 25-minute episode.
Yeah,
And Satsuki
yeah.
says to keep talking, and I'm kind of scared by.
I it's the one thing that I noticed that was really cool about it is that like Isabella is seems so much like I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but in my opinion, Isabella seemed way more threatening in the manga than the anime. That could be. I haven't seen the anime in about a year, so I don't know what you think about that.
I definitely feel like they're playing up her sinister evil side more.
I I think a little bit of that. I just think because of the presentation of the manga, like
Oh,
everything looks better.
okay, it sounds like I'm good. That's good. Yeah,
And I,
I
and
I also turn my volume up so hopefully you can see if I'm not just drowning him out.
I cry.
But yeah,
Um,
I love how like they frame so many of the shots, especially like the full page ones, like how
yeah,
strong those are.
yeah.
And I actually
I
I read the manga physically too, not just online. I think that also adds more to the effect.
I read it online because I'm poor.
All right, time to mail you. Time to mail you, the manga.
Saucy says it's probably because of how she's drawn, and I think that's definitely it. In the anime, she seemed much more like how to say it. She had like a much more of a charm to her, I think. And there were times where in the anime, like she had that sinister kind of look, like where she grabs on Emma's face and
Yeah,
stares at her like she's gonna kill her, and then she just starts to smile. Like that
yeah,
was a really cool scene in the manga, but in the manga, it was just like it was just a little bit more intense.
Yeah,
Saucy says she's drawn like my wife.
I thought she was his wife.
But like actually it because of season 2 being so awful, it's I'm kind of glad because the manga so far is just it's really cool. I like all the different way they like the way they kind of like draw them compared to the anime, because in the anime it's very like it's there's a certain like it feels like it's very upfront or like front facing camera shots of like the characters, and whereas the manga it feels like there is a much different approach to the angles in which the scenes are drawn
Yeah,
than in the anime.
they definitely have like the shots where it's like wider and like not focused on the character so much.
Yeah, and the distracting visual effects of season 1, which I'm glad they dropped for season 2. It's a big improvement in season 2. It just really seems like everything's more in focus compared to the season 1 anime. And I think like season 1 looks great. Like don't get me wrong, but the backgrounds and like all of the like the almost Gaussian blur kind of effects they use in it was so distracting, and it made it, and I understand why they did it. It's probably because the backgrounds didn't look that good, but because everything is so clear and in sight in the manga, it's just to me, I think it's superior.
I feel like the anime also adds a lot with the atmospheres and the music and everything.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt that the anime has its own, you know, there are things that the anime will do better than the manga.
Also, hello to Super Injustice and Sasuke and EA are fighting over Isabella in the chat.
um, you know, there's like the faces of all the characters. Like you know how like Emma has her like really derpy anime faces.
Yes.
I love those in the manga.
I love just all the expressions that Emma has, but both in the anime and manga.
I will say though that Crone, that's I don't want to talk too much about that, but her facial expressions, the way she's drawn, it's a little I don't want to say racist, but it's a little racist.
Okay, just yeah, because I like reread Volume 1, so it was like right as she was being introduced.
Yeah, there's like there are some shots of her that are like yeesh. Like this is at the very least a tad bit like insensitive, I think.
I can see it.
And it's I don't know.
Oh, I forgot what it was. Super Justice saying I think they just don't care anymore because the manga's over, and the other they like made give money from the manga. But at the same time, I can see like the first anime got people excited, they got them to buy the manga. But then why even make season 2 if they're going to make it so bad?
Oh my god, Sasuke says it's racist.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I will say this about Krona actually. Now that I've had a little bit more time to think about it just now, Crone's anime design is just so much better, and I think Crone in the manga seems a little bit more of just like a generic bad guy.
Yeah, because it felt like Krone was in it quite a lot, but it's like she didn't do all that much. She's almost felt like a plot device.
Yeah, but in the anime, she had a lot of like. I liked Crone in the anime a
She had a
lot,
lot
and
of
in the
personality
manga,
there.
maybe it's the design. I think it's just the design where I look at it and I don't I don't like it.
And that could
and
just
it
like
makes
turn
me
you off
not
to the
like the
character.
character.
Yeah, so it just turns you off.
Oh yeah, and Sasi says one of the girls' names is Jemima as well,
Jemima.
and Jemima. Um, and you know what's funny about her is she's like an adorable like little background character, and yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I did notice some interesting things just reading the manga that I did not pick up on before they didn't have in the anime. Oh, one was, when they went to the gate to investigate it, they ended up seeing a room in there that almost looks like a library.
Yes, that was like really interesting.
And I think
I have no idea where.
that might be the room they took Norman to. He was taken by.
Well, I think that's obviously probably the room he went to.
I guess the question is like, what is that room for? Is that something they on in the manga?
It holds season 2.
The actual season.
Yes, the actual season 2.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Satsu says he doesn't think there's much difference in the character for Crone between the two media. So it could just be how he
yes.
perceived that.
I mean, I think that's correct too. I think for me, I guess what I'm trying to say, what I'm saying poorly, is that because of her character design, I can't get the same kind of tone that I did in the anime for her character, just because it's so distracting.
Yeah, so I guess that would make sense. Like it could be done the same way, just if you can't get into it or you're turned off by her design, then it doesn't matter how good she can't get into it.
Yeah,
Satsu,
I do love.
yeah, Satsu says Crone is vastly underrated. Made a video on the topic that I like. Satsu, the person who made.
Yes, I agree.
Satsu should make more.
Sasuke should unretire. I'll pay him $6 billion.
All right, Aaron, I will unretire then. I also like just how they presented the demons in the manga. They seem much more sinister and like otherworldly and scary.
They do. I like some of like because in the anime they do it differently, but in the manga it's very stylized how they present a lot of the demons and some of the like the art, like the key visuals for the demons that I was just like, wow, this is like actually kind of like horrifying.
Yeah. And they also, when they went in the tunnel, they had like all the gears and stuff above them that like got like a shot to really it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. There's all those gears that
Yeah.
looks really, really cool,
You know,
like really eerie.
It feels like they toned down the demon for the anime, which I kind of see why they had to for the anime, just like make it work in the.
Yeah. Oh man, imagine if they didn't though. God, that would
Ooh,
look so cool.
that would really like ramp up the horror and.
It would. It would totally change the way like just how threatening they are. Because I never once really felt threatened about the demons in
Yeah,
Promised Neverland.
yeah, I think it was like frightening from like the kid's perspective, but I think in the manga there's definitely like a lot more creepiness to it.
Yeah, I felt I felt Mother Isabella was the most like she was way more scary than whatever the demons could do.
They also kept the demons like out of the picture for basically the entire anime.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, they
I
just
think
let.
the only time I was ever really scared of the demons was when was that first scene where we're kind of introduced to them, and that's about it.
Are only there like one other times in the season one at least.
Yeah, but they're like it never felt like they're a looming threat as much as
No.
it was Mother Isabella.
Yeah, because it
Like
isn't.
I still in season 2 think Mother Isabella is more of a threat than the demons, and she's not really a threat.
Yeah, she didn't do anything for that year, and I'm sad and confused.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Uh, oh, the something I don't know if it was in the anime or I just picked up on it from the manga is that they were locked in the house when Isabella took Connie to the gate, and Norman had to pick a lock for them to get out.
Yeah, yeah, there is a hell of a lot of just really small changes and details like that that I think add to like the moment to moment suspense, I think, which I think is really cool.
Right, Satsuki says Isabella is a top 2 villain, and then you killed the other one. This season is the true villain the studio.
It's I don't think it's Cloverworks' fault. I think it's the director. I think it's mostly the producer and the directors that are
Probably whoever guiding them. Say, okay, make this anime. By the way, finish the entire story of the season, and by the way, you have a recap episode. Or maybe in a way that's the studio because they weren't given like enough time to do it, right? So they had to do a recap.
I don't know. Typically, this is all producer stuff. So let's. think it's like Shueisha or something. Let's see.
Yes, we're
The
learning things
Gar-
podcast.
we are. It is. Oh my god. Yeah, Shueisha and Aniplex. So, which it seems like Aniplex is probably more of on the owner side. So they probably own Shueisha. I would assume. So yeah, this is on Shueisha. This is Shueisha's fault.
Got it. In that case, we should blame Brazil.
I agree. I
Kathy.
agree. Brazil, it's all your fault.
Oh, some other things I noticed is that Isabella was having the kids like do chores to keep them from investigating or doing anything else until it up.
Hmm.
Is that in the anime, or that's the first time I remember like really picking up on that?
I don't think so. Though I think a lot of the middle of Promise Neverland stuff like that, like the little details, kind of go out the window. But
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
kind of like
think
overwhelmed
so.
by the big moments. Maybe they were there, we just got them.
Yeah. Sasi says Goldie Pond has a top 5 character and a top 2 villain in it. One of him is best moments, and they say, nah, skip it.
We should we should
I
read the manga now.
will say Sasuke showed me a panel of something Emma does in the stuff they skipped,
Huh?
and I like just face palmed. I was like, why?
I mean, it's great.
Uh,
Okay, the chores were done in the end, so I guess I on it.
I
Uh,
guess it was just a really small thing because
yeah.
not I don't even remember that.
They also said that Isabella was the youngest to be a mother, which implies like lots of other things. Like, what do the other humans do in society before or if they don't become?
Hmm. Oh, speaking of Mother Isabella
Uh huh.
becoming mothers, they like reveal Isabella's number like pretty early on.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
that's true.
they, which is it's not like that big of a deal, but like it's a subtle thing that I think the anime did kind of better, where you don't like because the fact that we don't know whom like is Mother Isabella one of the kids or not,
Wait,
or she was she like an orphan or not, is something that when we find out later on, with Ray being her son, I think that adds a lot of impact to it because it's like throughout the anime we kind of don't know,
yeah, we don't know if
like,
she is also part of the system.
yeah, we have no really clue until Crone comes in, and then we kind of get a hint of that, but I don't think we ever see Crone's number. um
No, we do in the anime. I thought she reveals it.
well, I know she reveals the scar on her chest from the whatever it is they implant. Sure, I mean to be Father Ray. Sasuke is so horny for Isabella,
Sorry about Satsuki.
but I do think it is a cool just detail that they wait to reveal that in the anime because it just makes the whole twist of Ray being Isabella's son a little bit cooler. It makes you think more about it because in the manga, if I read this first, I would immediately been like Ray and Isabella are related.
I don't know if you would because that just shows she's part of the farm system, but nothing else.
They just look so similar,
Okay, yeah, I didn't really think of that, but yeah, I guess I can kind of see it.
and also the fact that they both know the same song as well.
Well, that was like the what gave it away that they.
Yeah, yeah. So
I do want to like
I
look more into the numbers because I think there's a meaning in there that we don't know. I remember looking through the manga a while back and noticing like there's a pattern to the numbers among all the kids.
I imagine it's like their birthday or something, and
I think there might
maybe
be
the
more
year
than
they were
that
born,
though.
or maybe that designates them. What designates them as like the best, you know,
I don't think so
youth
because
or whatever.
they don't know if you're the best until you start taking tests, and all the kids have the numbers early on.
That's a good point. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it just designates
'Cause I think it might be like the order they were
who they're
born,
born
maybe.
from. Maybe the order or who they were born from, like
That could
who
be.
their parents are.
Satsuki says 4 exclamation points.
Guess he's playing Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, I think for next, I know that there's a thing at the beginning of Volume 2 that like lists all the characters and their numbers. So I want to see like if I can figure out anything like that.
Yeah. Let's see, what else is there?
Yeah, I think that I had for.
A small thing is I think the demons in the manga seem way more organized than they did in the anime.
They do.
Uh, and I'm not basing that off season 2, just the fact that like they show them at their round table of evil discussions.
They showed that
And
in season 2 as well, or
they
not
showed it in
season 2,
season 2
season
and
1.
yeah, they showed it in both, but in season or in the manga, it just seems because of the detail and the quality of it,
Yeah,
and the
I guess
fact
I
they
could see
have like a full spread to it,
that. Mm-hmm.
made it look like they were really sinister and like super evil.
You need a giant table if you're going to be an evil villain.
Exactly. See, I like the way you think.
Go get a giant. I'll be back.
God. But yeah, that's kind of it. Honestly, those are my thoughts on the first 3 volumes. So
Okay,
which is
so
like halfway through the season.
yeah, like or volume 4 ends on like episode 11. So I guess next week we'll be
Okay.
talking. Next week
Yeah,
we might be
so
talking like up through volume 4 and the next episode, depending on how we feel about it.
yeah, and the arc they skipped probably.
Oh, that's not in volume 4.
Well, we may get to that
It's in
point
volume
where
5.
talking about Goldie Pond or whatever.
So I think volume 5 will probably be some start of season.
Yeah, either that or 6, either one.
We'll find out. Join us as we have a manga to confuse us when we have no on.
I big confuse all time. Yes, me confuse.
It's very easy to confuse.
I big confuse.
All right, I'm out of topics.
Okay.
So where can they
Okay.
find you, C?
They can find me on youtube.com/C/C Tactics. I also do Promise Neverland videos and Attack on Titan. And I did a quintessential quintuplets video today.
Yes, so you should go check that out. And you should also go check out the King of Anime podcast, where C talks about anime while Satsuki drink alcohol.
Yes.
I heard.
Used to, I guess. But it depends.
It depends on the week. All right, good night, everyone. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time for more confusion and fun and